Hey guys, my name is Bharat and I'm the creator of Bharat in Germany. This is the 4th episode of season 3 of A Day in Life of a Student in Germany, where we show you lifestyles of students studying in different German universities. This episode is by far one of my favorite episodes because the kind of things Veena shares during her studies in Frankfurt is actually very nice. Yes, because of time pressure, we couldn't reshoot a lot of the things because again, you will hear some kind of background noises, but as long as you're not doing these video recordings very frequently, you don't know about these things, and then reshooting them also takes a lot of time. But the tips that she gives and the kind of information that she's sharing, that is very valuable. So focus more on that and encourage her for the effort that she has put inside in recording this video. So let's go ahead and enjoy this episode.
Hi, my name is Veena. I am a postgraduate master's student at the Studienschule Architecture class in Frankfurt, Germany. I am an architect from India. I worked for a while there and then I decided to pursue my master's here in Frankfurt. And I have been living in Frankfurt for almost 2 years now. This video is going to be a day in my life, so let's go. Hey guys, so good morning. I have just woken up, I freshened up a bit and I just opened the windows to let in the fresh air, and it's not a very bright day today. I guess it will rain. And I have to go to school to collect a few books from the library, and before that I'm going to quickly grab a smoothie. So let's go get a smoothie and then head to school. My course. The name of the course is a postgraduate master's in architecture, and my specialization in that is advanced architectural design. And my course is completely in English. There was no prerequisite for the German language, but I would recommend that you all learn German because it's very essential for your everyday life. I have a very international class. Surprisingly, I don't have any German classmates, but I have classmates or colleagues, I call them. They are from all parts of the world, and I think it is an interesting way of learning. I think the prior requirements to apply for the course was that you have a year or two of work experience as an architect. Of course, you also need a bachelor's degree in architecture, and you have to send your portfolio with your letter of recommendations to the application department, and yeah, they take care of the rest of things. One of the most important things for my coursework was the use of a very that it needed a really good laptop. I'm sure as architects we always need to have laptops with some really good specifications, and although the universities here have their own computer labs with good computers, it's always good that you have your own setup, which helps you work on tight deadlines, and it in general even during the time of a pandemic, wherein you have to have an appointment to even enter the computer lab or the print lab or anything, it's best that you have your own setup so that your studies is not hampered by it. Another thing that I would recommend for an architecture student would be that you already start working as a part-time student in an architectural office. So for my university particularly, it says that they do not recommend us to work part-time because the coursework is pretty engaging, so you don't have so much time to spend on a job. But if your course states that you can do it, or if you feel that you have the time to do it, I would definitely recommend that you do it. It not only helps you get acclimatized with the German working culture, you will also learn new softwares, because for me, from the country that I came from, we used different softwares, and I realized I worked here in 2 offices as a work student, and I realized that A, everything is in German, and B, there are different softwares which are used, and I thought it was a good experience for me to sort of learn new softwares when I was a student. Like, I did not have massive responsibilities. Of course, I had responsibilities, but I also had the freedom to begin learning something, which is in contrast to if you work as a full-time architect. They of course expect you to know all the softwares and how the office works. Hey, so I reached my studio, and I have borrowed the book that I wanted to from the library, and now I will sit and work for a bit, but I'd like to show you my studio. So this is a desk that I work at, and there's another desk here where my friend sits, and another desk here, and we have a 3D printer in our studio, and some of our coffee things, and like mostly model making things. And this is my workspace. So I have that extra screen there. I just took things out from my bag, so my laptop, my notes, and I have to work for my class tomorrow, and yeah, so I will do that now. So this is the view from my studio. It's quite in a central location. I'm just loving all the green that is popping out. Okay, so to talk about the accommodation part, which I think is pretty important. I had found accommodation already like before reaching here in Frankfurt. It was through this Facebook group. It was really good because I could initiate the rest of the processes really fast, because once you have an address, you get your city registration, and then you can have a bank account, and then you can start with a regular life immediately, and so I would recommend that you would also try searching for accommodation at least 2 months before you come here, and that you make sure that whatever the rent or the deposit, if you're paying, I would suggest that you pay later, that you request that you see the apartment and then pay the money. But if you are paying it before, just make sure that it's a trusted source. It's very important that you have an apartment where you are comfortable, because you'll already be in a new place, and you will have a lot of work. By work I also mean like you have a lot of studies, so it's best that you have a place where you feel comfortable. Take up an apartment where you feel comfortable, where there's a mutual understanding between you and your flatmates, and that will help you to focus on your studies. That will also help you have a bit of a space of your own, but also which will help you to have social time in your own flat. Don't worry about not getting a furnished room. So the first 2 apartments that I lived at, everything was already there. I didn't have to buy anything. But this room that I'm currently living in was unfurnished. The rest of the apartment was furnished, so I had to get my things. I got lucky there because my former landlord helped me with furniture, and also there are websites like eBay, or there are a few apps which are more famous for your locality, wherein you get things for cheap prices or for free sometimes. And I would say that just make use of that opportunity. I have never personally lived in a student accommodation. I've always lived in a VTA, but if you want to save some money, I think student accommodations are pretty cheap. And I think they have a lot of waiting as well. So maybe like you can start applying for student accommodations right after you get your admits. Quick tip is to know about a doctor in the area that you live in. I kind of did not do that, and I only met with the doctor in the face of an emergency, and that was not so good. So it's always best that you know your Hausarzt, as they call it here, and in case you need any special doctors, which means an ophthalmologist or the dentist or anything, your Hausarzt always gives you an Überweisung, and then you have to take an appointment with these doctors. So Hausarzt is really crucial in having all of this. Okay, so just my point is that just be aware of the healthcare system, and make sure that you know what you would need to do in case of an emergency, not just for yourself but also for your friends or the people around you. Okay, and another tip I'd like to add to that is that you stay in touch with your family and friends from back home. I understand it's a new place, and that you are making new friends. There's a new life, and there's a lot of studies and everything to do, and you sometimes might not be able to stay in touch with your parents that often. But I think it's nice to be in touch with them, and it sort of keeps you in a good place mentally, because there will be a lot of new changes coming up. There will be some cultural shocks, or you just want some comfort from your family or something, and I think it's really nice to stay in touch with them. Also, I hope the pandemic starts giving us some good news, and that all the incoming students will finally able to use their student status to travel. Because for me, when I was traveling, it always was really helpful to have the student ID card, which gave me discounts in the entry of the museums, for accommodation or the hostels that I've lived in, or in general just even your traveling sometimes. Yeah, make sure you use that. So now, before I go and start cooking my dinner, I want to show you the view from my room, and I think that is one of the reasons why I took out this room, and you should see it. So you see this view. It's for this view that I took this room. It's so beautiful. Hey, I just finished my dinner, and after a long time I had an Indian dinner. I ate sambar and rice, and it felt so great. Maybe especially if you're a vegetarian, in my experience I felt that I wasn't really happy with eating outside, or like once in a while it's okay. It's also like really expensive sometimes, so I found it really best to just learn how to cook. So I just learned how to cook when I came here, and it has been great. Also, it helps you save a bit of money, because you always can buy more and then you can cook more. What I personally do is that I cook just once a day, and I cook enough for 2 meals. So I also make sure that I'm eating fresh, and that I'm saving time by cooking just once. One of the last things I would like to tell you is that just take that step and just go for it and pursue your dream of moving to another country. It might be for work, it might be for studies, but it's always better to do it than to regret it, I guess. So yeah, just be courageous, just be kind on yourself and kind on others. I am very sure it will work out for you. Okay, bye.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you want to be a part of our series, write us an email at adayinlife@bharatingermany.com, and we look forward to having your submission. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.